Tip number 4, consider price.
Price is definitely something that you want to consider when you are purchasing heels. Now, I don't want anyone to get offended because I know price is relative, and something that one person may consider as being expensive, another person may consider being inexpensive. So I do know that. So don't get offended anyone by anything that I'm saying in regards to price. But I have lots and lots of shoes. I started wearing heels back in the 8th grade. Of course, I used to buy the more inexpensive shoes that were maybe like $20 or $30 because at the time that's all I could afford. Now it's kind of I've moved up. I'm older, and what I consider shoes and my price range now are usually shoes that are around $70, 80 to 100, maybe like $200, but usually toward the more 90 to maybe like $140 range. Shoes that are more expensive are made out of better material, and I know they may look the same because right now it's like every shoe that you can find in maybe like Dillard's or Belk's, there is a knockoff version in a store like Forever 21 or Body Shop or Rainbow. Like the exact same shoe looks almost the exact same, but I guarantee you the difference is going to come in the wearability of the shoe because the material is going to be completely different. More inexpensive shoes are made out of PVC. PVC is basically plastic. It's the same material that they use to make PVC pipes. So if you think about it, if your shoes are made out of cardboard and PVC, it's like you're wearing a pipe on your foot, which that doesn't sound comfortable. And that's probably why your shoes are not comfortable. So take both of these shoes. They're pretty similar. They're both made out of they're both patent material, and a lot of people think that if your shoes are patent leather that they're not genuine leather. Well, these are. Shoes can be made out of genuine leather and be patent. Patent is just a process that they do to the leather to make it shiny. But these shoes are also patent leather, and they're not made out of real leather. So these shoes came from Charlotte Russe. They're very cute shoes, and I do like these shoes, but they are hard. You hear that? And you can see on the inside and the back of this shoe, you see this cardboard where the back has started to rub out? The shoe is lined and made out of cardboard with plastic on the outside. Listen to this. You hear that? This shoe is hard and it's squeaky. That's why it's making that noise, because this shoe is hard. Now take for instance this shoe. Now listen to this. You hear that? Exactly, you don't hear anything because this shoe is much softer. This shoe is made out of genuine leather, and when you buy shoes that are made out of genuine leather, if they're kind of tight when you first purchase them, if you wear them 2 or 3 times, it will eventually loosen up to the shape of your foot because it's made out of genuine leather. However, if your shoe is made out of PVC, if it's tight in the store, it's going to be tight forever. No matter how many times you wear it, it's still going to it's still going to feel like a very tight shoe because it's not going to loosen up. Because faux leather doesn't loosen up, whereas real leather does. Also, softer, more expensive shoes are made out of better materials in the insole of the shoe. Now, I've looked online because I felt like Nine West had the softest shoes of any brand that I have purchased so far. So I looked online to see what some other people were thinking, and it came down to 2 pairs of shoes that are not really expensive, but more expensive than like a shoe in Charlotte Russe. So it came down to Nine West and also shoes from Aldo. But I can very well vouch for Nine West. Of all my shoes that I own, over 40 pair, these are by far the softest shoes that I own. I can wear these shoes all day and I will have no problems. They will not hurt my feet at all. Another brand of shoes that I also want to add to that category is BB. I know a lot of people don't think about shoes when they think about BB. They think about clothes and accessories. But BB has the softest shoes. They are a close run-up with Nine West. I would definitely put both of these as number 1. They're side by side. BB has the shoe, their leather on their shoes is the softest that you would ever try on, and they have awesome shoes. Now, BB shoes are a little more expensive. These shoes were originally, I think, like $98. I got them on sale for $50. But shoes in BB are usually going to be no less than $100, and some of them are going to be like $200. So they are a bit more pricier, but they are very soft shoes and they will not hurt your feet as well. So shoes that I would consider the hurt your feet kind of shoes would be shoes from places like Forever 21, definitely, Charlotte Russe, and the Body Shop. And it's not that I'm really knocking those places because I love them for clothes. Actually, I shop there all the time. This blazer came from Charlotte Russe, and this bracelet on the bottom came from Charlotte Russe, and this necklace came from Forever 21. So I definitely shop there, but just because you shop somewhere for one thing doesn't mean that you should get everything there that they buy. I love their clothes. But I don't really like their shoes.
Tip number 5, there's a time and a place for heels.
So what I mean by there is a time and a place for heels, I don't mean that you get to judge people because you think that they're wearing heels in an inappropriate place, like at a baseball game. But what I mean is judge yourself on the appropriateness of wearing your heels based on what you're doing that day and the type of heels that you are wearing. For example, say that you have an event that requires you to wear heels and you're going to be setting up and tearing down for the event. Don't wear heels the whole time, especially if you have longer toes, like I said, and you're wearing heels with a narrow toe box. Wear some flats before and after and just wear the heels during. Or if it requires you to wear heels the whole time, then switch your shoes out and wear the shoes that you want to wear only during the actual event. It's going to really save your feet in the long run. Also, like me, a lot of times I used to swing by the mall whenever I used to leave class. Well, if I wore wedge heels to class because they're not comfortable for me, I would switch into flats after class when I was going to the mall. I'm not going to walk through the mall in some shoes that are going to make me uncomfortable. If you're at work and you know you have it in your plans to go grocery shopping afterwards, do not get out the car wearing those heels in the grocery store if you already have complications such as bunions or corns, or if you don't have any of those complications, but maybe you don't have an arch, which sets you up for those complications much easier than somebody who does. Like, just don't do those type of things. Now, I do realize life is not all planned, and a lot of spontaneous things happen. A lot of times I've ended up being in the mall in heels when I didn't expect to, or maybe I thought to myself, I'm only going to go in and get one thing, and ended up spending an hour and a half in the mall walking around in heels. I do realize that happens, but when you do have a plan, don't wear heels unnecessarily for your foot. And just because your friend make you wear heels and not get corns and calluses 6 days a week, maybe you can't because maybe your toes are longer or you don't have an arch. Whatever you do in life, you always have to be smart about it because you're going to have your feet for the rest of your life. So the last thing you want to do is ruin them and end up having to have foot surgery at middle age. Then you'll never be able to wear the heels that you spent so much money on and that you love so much ever again. You always have to be smart and remember that at the end of the day, shoes are shoes and shoes have to come off. At the end of the day, I want my feet to look as good as they did in my shoes when I take my shoes off. So be good to your feet.
Tip number 6, know your feet.
So what do I mean by know your feet? Well, I mean, notice if you have an arch or if you don't. Notice if you have longer toes or if you do not, because that's going to make a big difference in the type of shoes that you should or should not be wearing. If you do not have an arch, wearing a shoe that has a really high arch to it, like really high heels, are not going to be at all comfortable for you. Likewise, if you have a high arch or you do just have a regular arch, wearing those high heels are probably not going to be a problem for you. A lot of people love wedge heels. A lot of people say that wedge heels are very comfortable for them. I love wedge heels myself. I love the look of wedge heels. However, I don't own but I think maybe 3 pairs because they're really not comfortable for me. The last time I bought some wedge heels was a long time ago until I saw these. I had to get these because, I mean, I thought they were so cute. I thought these were really cutie pie and I had to get them, but I've only worn them twice since I even bought them because they're not really comfortable for me and I can't stay in them a long time because I have a high arch. It's a little higher than a normal arch foot. And so when I wear wedge heels, I'm basically walking on the pad of my foot and the heel of my foot because the middle of my foot does not touch this bottom of the shoe, so it ends up being really uncomfortable for me and I can't stay in them a long time. So even though I love wedge heels, I don't wear them a lot.
Tip number 7 is probably the most important tip of all. Buy your size. Kind of.
Another tip that I have for you is, it's probably, of all the tips, it is probably the one tip that you should definitely take home. If you don't remember any of my tips, this is the one that you should definitely remember. Buy your shoe size. Don't get a shoe that is smaller than your foot size. But the number one tip that I have when I buy shoes is I wear a size 7.5, 8. So whenever I buy a shoe that has a strap on it like this, I get it a whole size bigger than what I actually wear. One whole size bigger is not going to be so big that the shoe is going to be noticeably too large, and especially if it has this ankle strap, it's not going to flop off your feet at all because of this ankle strap. However, if the shoe is a pump and it doesn't come with the strap, I only go a half size bigger. Now, that is the number one tip because you can wiggle your toes. Your foot will feel so comfortable and so free. And a lot of people ask me, how do you wear heels all the time? How do you stay in them all day? That is the number one reason by far. Why? Because I always buy my shoes half a size to a whole size bigger. Now, these are my blue suede Steve Maddens, and I saw these shoes in Belk. And I have been stalking these shoes in Belk for quite some time. So I got these shoes and I tried them on. So I really needed a size 8 because that's what size I would normally wear. That would be my shoe size. So I asked the guy for an 8.5. He said, oh, these shoes don't come in half sizes. So I said, give me the 9. So he gave me the 9 and it was too big in the back. Well, me really wanting these shoes, I was like, oh, I'll just put a heel grip in the back and I'll be fine. Well, lo and behold, I get home, I put the heel grip in the back, and the shoe's still too big. Heel grips are only going to help you if the back of your heel actually touches the back of the shoe. But the shoe was so big that even with the heel grip, the heel of my foot didn't meet the back of the shoe. So I thought I was going to be smart and put 2 heel grips back here, and I almost killed myself. It was a terrible idea. So just be careful. Yeah, get your shoes half a size to a size bigger. But what I really should have done is just left the shoe in the store or just gotten an 8. And as a result, I don't wear these shoes nearly as much as I had planned to because I really have to use all the strength in my toes, in my foot, and my legs to keep this shoe from flopping off my foot and to keep from falling. Or usually I wear it when I can wear pants and the back of the shoe is covered so that you can't see how big the shoe is. But yeah, it's a tragic story. Poor shoes.
Tip number 8. Platforms give you superhuman leg strength.
Now, I know it may sound kind of funny, but I kid you not, platforms are some of the most comfortable shoes that you could ever buy. A lot of people try to shy away from platforms because I must admit they can be a little intimidating just by looking at them, but these are some of the most comfortable pairs of heels that you could ever wear. If you have to walk around, do a lot of walking, you probably want to wear some platforms. This is the reason why they are the choice of shoes of strippers and prostitutes alike, because these women are walking all day. If you're a stripper, you're walking and dancing all day, and how can they stay in these shoes if they weren't comfortable? They're comfortable because of this. This platform area provides you a lot of support to the bottom of your feet, which is where you need it most, because usually when your feet start to hurt and burn is usually at the ball of your foot, and this platform kind of prevents that from happening. Platforms do give you superhuman leg strength, okay? Picture this scenario. Say you're working on a car with a friend and the jack comes from under the car and the car falls down on your friend. You try to lift the car to no avail. Just run in the house and put on a pair of platforms, come back out, and I guarantee you'll be able to lift the car because platforms give you superhuman leg strength. Platforms allow you to do things with your legs that you normally couldn't do if you were not wearing platforms. I cannot do the sea walk. You know that dance, sea walk. I can't really dance at all, but I can't do the sea walk. But if I put on platforms, I can do the sea walk. It's crazy. It's not me. It's the platform. They like give your legs like a whole new life of their own, and they make them do things that they normally can't do. Like if you can't river dance, if you put on platforms, they'll make your legs river dance. It's like the world's best kept secret. Platforms are the bomb.
Tip number 9, buy shoe accessories.
Another good tip that you should also remember, probably the number 2 best tip that I have, is to buy shoe accessories. Buy little inserts, heel grips, grips for the bottom of your shoes, and inserts, insoles, and even these which are for when you have shoes with a lot of straps to make them comfortable. These are not really expensive, and I know we always see them when we are in shoe stores, and we kind of look at them and we're like, oh, I don't need those. They're not really expensive at all, but they can make the like a big, huge difference in how your shoe fits and the comfortability of your shoe, because these are a way to customize the fit of your shoe so that it's perfect for you. So if your shoe is perfect except that it's rubbing a little on the back of your heel, just use this. Or maybe the shoe is comfortable but sometimes it really causes the ball of your foot to burn, then just use one of these. Or if you have those, yeah, those are my dogs, sorry. If you have shoes that have the slippery bottoms, then you want to use something like this. These are an excellent way to customize your shoes so that they fit perfectly for you.
Tip number 10 is have fun and be confident.
The final tip that I have for you guys is I hope you guys took away lots of things and new tips that can help you when you are both purchasing and wearing your shoes, and just whatever types of heels you wear, whether they're the crazy ones, whether they're platforms, or whether there's just some plain black 4-inch pumps. Just be happy and be confident, and just remember to have fun, whether you're short, tall, big or large, it doesn't matter. Just have fun in your heels and be confident.